gateway. We're following a big one here. We've got a suspicious character. Read him! But his plan didn't work. Give me my job back!
Yes, it's so good to be home again. Wait a minute.
When we think of the world's greatest ancient civilizations, Chinese dynasties, the kingdoms and pyramids of Egypt, Greece with its columns and democracy, and Roman Colosseums and Republican Senate tend to come to our minds. But what about the Americas? Among the over 500 Native American nations were vast civilizations, as great and in some ways greater than China, Egypt, Greece, and Rome. The Maya Civilization. The Maya were some of the best road builders our planet has known. Some of the most level roads ever seen were built, leading from city to city through hundreds of miles of thick jungle terrain. These cities, some historians believe, boasted a wide range of vibrant colors: red buildings, blue buildings, green, yellow. Imagine a Crayola city. Cities with shopping markets, schools, government buildings, and religious temples, even public zoos. Many homes had natural plumbing. Observatories designed to study the stars. The Maya were some of the greatest astronomers the world has ever known, predicting to the minute the arrival of comets and meteor showers. The Maya calendar was more accurate than the calendar we use today. No need for a leap year with such precise keeping of time. Maya hieroglyphs boasted over 800 picture characters and filled libraries throughout cities. Crowds gathered to watch an ancient ball game. This Maya form of hoops is believed to have been played using no hands and no feet. The ball they used was made of rubber, a substance totally unknown to Europeans and Asians at the time. Some historians believe that the winners of the game received the honor of being sacrificed to Mayan gods. The Maya were stylish. They drilled holes in their teeth and put jewels in those holes just for looks. Ugh, that grill. And the Maya loved to drink hot chocolate. Of course, with honey, chili peppers, and cornmeal. Oh, and the Maya performed successful brain surgery. I mean successful as in we know the patient survived. What their life was like following surgery is unknown. The knives they used for surgery, just like the weapons they used for battle, were made of obsidian. The more it breaks, the sharper it becomes. The Aztec. An ancient prophecy of Mesoamerica spoke of a place to settle and build a great civilization. As native people of Mesoamerica hunted and gathered and lived a life on the move, the prophecy said that when they come to a place and see an eagle eating a snake while perched on a cactus, well, that is the place to build that great civilization. As legend goes, a band of people happened upon such a scene. Except for the eagle was eating a snake, perched on a cactus, right in the middle of a marshy lake. Would this stop them from following the ancient prophecy? No way. The people who called themselves Mexica built that great city called Tenochtitlan right in the middle of the lake, with huge religious pyramids, observatories, government buildings, schools, libraries, and even zoos were built. Booming marketplaces where cacao beans were used as currency or money. The Aztec, as they would call themselves eventually, even farmed on floating gardens called chinampas. The city streets were laid out on a grid pattern, much like large cities of today. But traffic was boat traffic. 2.5-mile aqueducts supplied the city with fresh water. The Aztec also had picture writing or hieroglyphics. The city of Tenochtitlan served as the capital of the Aztec Empire with its over 85,000 square miles of kingdom. And they ruled there until the arrival of Spanish conquistadors led to its destruction in 1521. After Spain conquered the Aztec, they destroyed most of the Aztec books and drained the lake and planted their new capital of New Spain right on top of that incredible Aztec city. The Spaniards named the capital of New Spain Mexico City. Even today, evidence of Aztec greatness can be seen right in the middle of downtown Mexico City. The Inca Civilization. The Inca Empire extended along the longest mountain range on Earth, the Andes of South America. With 10 million royal subjects living over an area of 350 square miles, the Inca was the largest civilization in the Western Hemisphere ever. With less available oxygen living at such high altitudes, the Inca people adapted by having larger lungs than people who live at lower altitudes, but they were far from a bunch of hot air. Sorry. They were master farmers. The Inca specialized in crops seen nowhere else on planet Earth except for in the Americas: corn and potatoes. How do you farm on the face of a mountain? A technique called terracing created flat land where there was no flat land. The Inca were wise enough to prepare for poor growing seasons. They planned ahead by storing food for when times got rough. How did they store food without refrigeration? They invented freeze-dried foods using frozen mountain peaks. But you're probably more interested in another technique of food preservation. The Inca exposed their corn to intense heat and heated it until the corn popped. That's right, the Inca invented popcorn. With these techniques, the Inca could preserve food and kept it from spoiling for years if necessary. The Inca, like the Maya of Central America, were master road builders, except the Inca built their roads through rough, rugged mountains, complete with the world's first suspension bridges. Go ahead, cross. You first, be my guest. Master masons, or stone masons, built structures that have withstood earthquakes in time. The Inca fit these stones together without mortar or concrete to hold them in place. The stone fit together so perfectly, mortar wasn't necessary. Not even the thinnest of knife blades could fit between the stones. With an empire spanning thousands of miles, the Inca needed an efficient way to send messages over these distances quickly. Runners called chasqui ran in relays, carrying the emperor's important messages throughout the empire. Running through narrow mountain roads, one chasqui may run up to 25 miles a day before reaching a checkpoint where the next chasqui runner would take over. If the message was ever found to be incorrect, the penalty was death. Living among all those cliffs, I wonder how they... Sheesh. No mention of the Inca would be complete without including a word about Machu Picchu. This city in the clouds was built at an elevation of over 7,000 feet above sea level. With over 150 buildings, the compound at Machu Picchu was home to royals in a time of extreme danger. When the conquistadors, or conquerors from Spain, attacked the Inca Empire and spread disease that killed hundreds of thousands, the royal family and high government officials fled to this mountain escape. The conquering Spanish never found Machu Picchu. There is so much more that could be said about Native American civilizations. Their inventions, medical breakthroughs, studies of the heavens and space, and architectural feats, all without using the wheel. Though we know they knew of the wheel, just look at the Mayan calendar and children's toys. And they had no large work animals to help with the heavy lifting. Hopefully, you won't rely on school for all of your learning. Go explore for yourselves.